Hi, my name is Sumayah Mohabbat. I'm in eighth grade, and my project is on expanding Dr. Walsh's calming cycle theory to mothers and their teenage daughters. With the hustle and bustle of life and the extensive use of electronics, mothers and daughters are not bonding like they used to. In an attempt to rectify this, I will use Dr. Walsh's calming cycle theory to help mothers and daughters bond at an emotional and autonomic level. Dr. Walsh's calming cycle theory was designed to bond mothers and infants. To strengthen the bond between mothers and their teenage daughters, I will implement a calming activity of 10 minutes of co-meditation. It was hypothesized that if Dr. Welch's calming cycle theory for mothers and infants is expanded to include mothers and teenage daughters, then mothers and teenage daughters will experience emotional autonomic co-regulation. An experimental group of 5 pairs of mothers and daughters and a controlled group of 5 unweighted pairs of mothers and teenage girls were used for this experiment. Both groups had a calming exercise of co-meditation. Both groups had their heart rate and blood pressure measured before and after the co-meditation. They were also asked to answer 2 questions before and after the exercise about how calm they felt and how bonded they felt. In conclusion, the hypothesis was supported. There was a difference in results between the controlled group and the experimental group, with the experimental group showing autonomic co-regulation. The objective of my project is to use Dr. Welsh's calming cycle theory to bond mothers and their teenage daughters to a calming activity of 10 minutes. My variables are the calming exercise applied to mother and daughter through 10 minutes of co-meditation is my independent variable. Difference in heart rate and blood pressure before and after the calming exercise, the autonomic bond is my dependent variable. And same meditation video showed to all, same age group for the teenage girls, and same location is my controlled variables. Now, just a little bit about Dr. Martha Welsh. She's an internationally acclaimed expert on optimal childhood development. She holds the title of Professor of Psychiatry and Pediatrics and in Pathology and Cell Biology at Columbia University Irving Medical Center. She is a co-author of the calming cycle theory. Now, the Welsh Emotional Connection Screen is a powerful new approach to identify children at risk for emotional, behavioral, and developmental disorders. This work is based on 3 new ideas. The autonomic nervous system plays a key role in the regulation of emotions and emotional behavior. Co-regulation of the autonomic nervous system underlies parent-child emotional connection. Establishing emotional connection addresses and prevents emotional, behavioral, and developmental problems. Emotional connection between mother and infant, a mutually positive, nurturing relationship, is the key to the future emotional well-being of both. Now, my materials. This experiment requires the use of 20 subjects, 10 mothers, and 10 teenage girls between the age of 12 to 14. A blood pressure machine and an oximeter were used to measure blood pressure and heart rate. A 10-minute meditation video was also used, and a survey was also made to ask about the level of calmness and bonding between mother and child. A 10-minute meditation video was played with instructions on breathing and mindfulness while the mother and daughter were placed next to each other. After the exercise was over, the subject's heart rate and blood pressure was measured again and recorded. They also were asked to answer the same 2 questions of how calm and relaxed they feel on a scale of 1 to 10 and how bonded they feel with each other on a scale of 1 to 10. After all the data was collected, I drafted graphs to check for relations. It was observed that in the experimental group, mothers and daughters, the average drop in heart rate before and after co-meditating was 8.6 beats per minute for the mothers and 8.8 beats per minute for the daughters. As for the controlled group, mothers and unrelated daughters, the average drop in heart rate before and after co-meditating was 4.6 beats per minute for the unrelated mothers and 0.4 beats per minute for the unrelated teens. The average blood pressure drop for the experimental group before and after co-meditation was 6 systolic and 5.6 diastolic for the mothers and 2.2 systolic and 4 diastolic for the daughters. The average blood pressure drop for the controlled group before and after co-meditating was 2.8 systolic and 4.8 diastolic for the unrelated mothers and 0 systolic and an increase of 3 diastolic for the unrelated teens. There was a difference in results between the controlled group and the experimental group. While the controlled group showed a slight drop for the mothers in heart rate and blood pressure after the co-meditation, it didn't show any decrease for the unrelated teens. It was also noted that the average resting blood pressure was higher for the unrelated mothers and teens. The autonomic co-regulation between mother and child was evident in the lowered heart rate and lowered blood pressure before and after co-meditation. The calming cycle theory is a new view of the emotional relationship of mother and child, and it predicts ways to positively intervene when problems arise. The theory builds upon the idea of co-regulation of the autonomic nervous systems. It is important to assess relational health early in life so children and families can receive the support they need to overcome or prevent problems. Current evaluations are costly, time-consuming, and often are difficult to obtain. This provides a cost-free emotional co-regulation to strengthen the bond between mother and child. And for my future follow-up, as with any project involving human subjects, this project would benefit from a larger sample size. I would like to include male teenagers as a follow-up on this project to see if they too can co-regulate with their mothers, with their emotions with their mothers. And that will be all. Thank you.